Hello again and welcome to a tutorial on painting wood grain. I'm going to be using the back of some dwarf shields that I've done. The main palette is going to be Modeler Armour Brown, Model Colour Flat Earth and Japanese Uniform, World War II. I've also got a little bit of Citadel's Beach Bone there, just for highlights. So what we're going to be doing is working on these Marauder plastic shields again. They got a nice grain there to follow, so you might as well use that as a guide. So the first thing we put on is flat earth, and what I'm going to do one panel slightly different to the others. So we'll go flat earth for all of this side, following the line. And also this panel here is going to be flat earth. This one I'm going to go a shade lighter with the Japanese uniform. So it's quite thin, so we're going to need another coat. So once it's dry, I'll do another coat and give it a go with the old hair dryer to dry it out quicker. Okay, so here we are at the stage with that's 2 coats now. 2 coats of the flat earth here, and 2 coats of the Japanese uniform there. I'm doing 2 shields at the same time here, just in case one turns out better than the other. What we're going to do with the flat earth side is go in with the tank brown wash. So as you can see, I've watered it down quite a bit there. Sorry, my camera is in the way of my optimizer. So we'll just go in with a wash there, and that should settle in the recesses of the wood grain that's already there. If not, we'll let it dry and we'll come back in with another coat. And do the other one while we're here. So I'm going to leave that dry before I actually make a wash for this side. This side's wash will be, just probably I'll make a wash out of the flat earth. If you get any mistakes, it's easy enough to just wet your brush and lift the paint off. So I'll wait for that to dry. Okay, so that's dried quite nicely just after 1 coat of the wash. If it doesn't work and you're not happy with it, just use the same wash, but just apply it directly to any lines that you want to redefine, because that'll work in your favor for later on, as long as you give you a nice contrast. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to add the flat earth wash to the Japanese uniform panel, just to give it a little bit of shadow so we can work with that later on. This might need a couple of coats, I think, because the difference between the colours isn't that great. Maybe mix a little bit of the armour brown in with the flat earth to give it a little bit more depth, but we'll see what that looks like after it's dry. Yeah, the flat earth wash didn't really do much, so I just mixed it 50-50 there. That's the flat earth and that was the armour brown. Just directly mixed it half and half and went in again, and we got that result. So that's looking pretty good for maybe a tabletop standard. It's not half bad, but we're going to take it a little bit further now. So I'm going to mix what's left of my flat brown with a little bit of Japanese uniform here. Hopefully I'll get a nice colour out of that. Whoops. I'll see. Yeah, that's not too bad. And we're going to apply this to the, the darker panels. So let's see how we get on here. Actually, I'm going to switch to a smaller brush. I was using a that was a size 1 Winsor & Newton, but I'm going to go in with a size 0. Broken Toad do these ones. They're miniature series, but the Mark II ones are better than the Mark 1, so if you can give them a go, they're quite nice actually. So all I'm doing is using the thin point of the brush, and because the lines are already there in the grain, that's all I'm doing is following those lines. The point is thin enough on the brush just to run it down each line of the panel, and what I'll do, I'll probably give that about 2 coats and we'll see what it comes out like. Okay, so that stage didn't work so well, so what I've done, because the flat earth was too runny, I've made another mix here of half of flat earth and half of the Japanese uniform, and I've applied it to the lines on each panel. What I'm going to do is do the last one here. It's on the side, or the edge panel. It's the same again, just pick out the lines. It's very subtle, but so you've got to have a good point on your brush, so you can just follow the lines and build up layers. And we'll give that another coat and see how it turns out. This time I'll be working on the light panel now, and this will be just Japanese uniform on its own. You know the drill now, just follow the grain lines. Just pick them out. Try not to go in the shadows, but if you do, like I am, you can always redefine it then with the original wash colour. This will probably take about 2 coats again, but as you can see, it's starting to look quite natural there. So I'll give it I'll have a go with the blow dryer now to dry it out and give it another coat and see where we are. So the second layer worked quite well. So what I've done now, I've added a little bit of bleached bone to the Japanese armour. I'm going to add some highlights again, but it's the same thing. Picking out the lines. It's quite delicate to try and get the absolute tip of the brush working on that. If you got some boring looking blocks, you can always use the same colour on there just to define it a bit more. This is really subtle, but it does give a nice effect. So pretty much there. What I'm going to do is redefine the dark lines in between the panel now, just to get a bit of depth. So just to finish off, we've already started doing this stage, but you can see that I'm using the armour brown just to redefine, the gaps between the panels, and also I'll put some in there as well just to shake things up a bit. And you can go around the outside of the... I've actually got a little hair on the end of my brush, hang on. Okay, sorry about that. The panel line there. So that's redone. Yeah, so I think that's about it. It's all about just getting a bit of variation on it and a bit of depth as well, and you can get a nice looking wood grain from that. Cheers. Okay, I just realised throughout that process, because I was holding the shields up towards the camera, the light was totally obliterating what I've done. But you can see now, hopefully, we've got some nice woody colours there. It just looked, I must apologise, it looked quite light. Looking back through some of the frames that I've already done, but there is, there's a nice bit of grain there. Just checking it on my screen now. So yeah, give it a try, and more importantly, let me know how you get on. Cheers.